All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Potential Project, where we find out what it takes to unlock your full potential in every area of life. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and I hope you're having a great start to your week. Today, what I wanted to talk about is the fact that when it comes to your health and your fitness and just living your best life, um, I like to be an experiment on myself for you guys, right? Because if I'm going to be able to teach you things on how to maybe tweak a habit or learn something new about ways that you can sleep better, have better performance in the gym, have less pain, all of those things, right? All of the things that come with living your best life and having optimal health. I have to do it on myself first, right? So I am my own test dummy. I do research. I learn from others, from mentors, from people who are ahead of me in knowledge and in wisdom, and I try it on myself and I see what happens, and then I take that information and I try to give it to you with understanding that everyone is different and what works for me might not apply to you, but there's a good chance that some of these things will help you. So that's what we're here to talk about today. And one of those little tests that I've been running on myself is eating in the morning prior to a workout. There are tons of different things that you can do to optimize your workouts, but today we're specifically going to talk about the pros and cons on fasted workouts, on eating before workouts, and all of that, like what it entails. Like, should you eat before a workout, or is exercising on an empty stomach better? So we're going to dive into some science, some benefits, and considerations for the best approaches, right? But I do want to highlight again that everything when it comes to your optimal health, nutrition, exercise, everything is individualized, right? And we're always adjusting as we go. So what works for me may not work for you. And also, what works for me today as a 30-year-old might not work for me when I'm 50, right? So that's why it's good that we learn these things. We get very intuitive with our body and we rely on not only science, but our own personal, soul and being to tell us the way. Because if we quiet the noise a lot of times, we're able to see what our body needs, right? Like your body has cravings for a reason, it gets tired for a reason. So if we learn to quiet the noise, learn why those things are happening, balance some things out, you're able to live an optimal, healthy life with just going off of your your intuition, which is pretty cool. I'm not totally there yet, but it's definitely fun to learn and observe some of these things when they pop up. So first thing I want to start off with are some factors to consider when it comes to figuring out to eat or not to eat before a workout, and how it's going to benefit you, right? So one thing is your workout goals. What is your intention and your goal when you're exercising? Is it to burn fat? Is it to build muscle? Or is it to increase your performance? We all have different objectives when we're in the gym. There might be someone in the NFL who's got a totally different objective than Sally Joe, who's 55, right? And that's okay, but it's needs to be brought up into consideration because it's going to affect what you do and what you don't do. Another thing to bring into consideration is the type and intensity of your exercise. There's things like high intensity workout, like HIIT training and weightlifting, which generally benefit from a pre-workout meal or some fuel. And then there's low intensity or steady state cardio, like walking, hiking, or just things that are lower impact on your body, which you might be able to get away with doing without eating, right? Then there's the timing of the workout. Are you working out in the morning, the middle of the day, the afternoon? And then your individual tolerance. Some people have, better experience when they work out fast, and others really might feel fatigued and might really benefit from some energy in the food. So those are some factors to consider. And I've already said it twice already, but just remember that everything is individualized, right? You can't say there's one size fits all for what you should do. We're just going to go through pros and cons, and then you get to experiment on yourself and see what works best, right? I'm just going to give you some of the tips to get there. The next thing we're going to go into is the pros of eating before a workout. Now, what I've been recently doing is I'm a coffee lover. I absolutely love it. I've been giving myself a break some days now to try to, not have so much caffeine in my system at all times. So I'll do like a day without coffee. But when I do, based on my food sensitivities, I drink coffee black. Um, Now I have sensitivities to cow's milk and almonds and even oats. So like all of the milk combinations don't really work for me. And even some cinnamon. So I used to do black with some cinnamon, but now I'm just doing it black. But having black coffee on an empty stomach can lead to other problems like spikes in your cortisol, indigestion, different things. So what I have done is I put a scoop of protein powder in my coffee and I'll blend it up with the whisk. What are those things called? The frother, right? I'll blend it up. So now it's not black coffee anymore, and I'm getting some protein in my body prior to my workout. So it's like the best of both worlds. It makes the coffee taste better and it's giving me some fuel prior to working out. So that's what I've been doing. So here's some pros on eating before a workout. You get improved performance, right? So eating gives you energy, right? Food is energy. So it gives you glucose in your bloodstream, which is going to enhance your strength. It's going to enhance your endurance and your focus during your workout. So that's a pretty good thing. Next is prevention of fatigue. So as you are working out, right, midway through, or if you're doing like a longer run or something like that, it's going to avoid the energy crashes, right? Especially if you're doing like a long run or a bike ride or a swim, you don't want to have a crash midway or towards the end of your exercise because you still have some more to do, right? If you're running 10 miles and 5 miles in, you are crashing pretty hard. That's not a good feeling. You're gonna cramp up. You could injure yourself, and you're not just going to get the most out of your exercise, right? And then better recovery. So if you eat before the meal or before the workout, it's going to contribute to post-workout recovery by maintaining your glycogen stores. So you're not going to deplete your energy stores, and then you're going to be able to recover after better. And then muscle preservation, right? Depending on what you're doing, different exercise leads to different effects on the body. Like going for a long run versus powerlifting is going to have a different effect. But if we're talking about muscle preservation, right, your muscle needs protein. So if it's breaking down the protein in the muscles, it's going to reduce that, right? If you have a little protein prior to the workout, that's going to help the breakdown in the muscle tissue during the resistance training. Now, some cons of eating before a workout, there's a potential for some discomfort, right? If you eat too close to a workout, it can lead to bloating, cramping, or sluggishness. Depending on the type of metabolism you have, eating certain foods could give you more energy, and eating other foods could make you sluggish. So if you don't know that, and you're eating the foods that are making you sluggish prior to the workout, that's not going to lead to a positive effect. So, for example, I'm what you call a fast oxidizer or a protein type, which means my body burns through fuel pretty quickly, and I need to eat slow burning fuels, things that are higher in fats and proteins. So if I were to eat like a bowl of oatmeal, my body's going to burn through that very quickly and lead to me feeling sluggish and crashing essentially. So you do need to experiment with yourself and be intuitive along this process of health building because that's what it comes down to. Now, I can tell you a million things. A doctor could tell you things. You could look up other things online. But what it really comes down to is you know your body better than we do. So we're here to provide information, and your job is to take that, try some things, right, and then see what works best for you. Another con is increased insulin levels. So insulin is in your bloodstream at all times. And when you eat high carb meals, your insulin spikes in order to go and reduce that and keep it at a level, a level, right? A calm level. So if your carb spikes and you eat a high carb meal, then your insulin spikes, and that's going to reduce your fat oxidation during your exercise. So if you're exercising, instead of burning fat, it's just going to be burning off those carbs, right? Rather than actually getting to the goal, right? A lot of times people want to keep their fat percentage on their body quite low or lower than what it is right now. So if we're eating a high carb meal, it can reduce the fat oxidation during the exercise. And then convenience is a carb, right? I know for folks who work out bright and early in the morning, eating a pre-workout meal is challenging, right? You're not going to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and make some eggs just so, just before you go to a workout. So that can be challenging. Um, and again, as I'm going through these, I'm sure you can see your scenario and like you're picturing your schedule, you're picturing your body type, you're picturing the exercise that you do or enjoy doing, and seeing how these can be a pro or a con, right? I can see they're making sense in your head, as to what might be beneficial and what might not. So here's some pros of working out fasted, right? Enhanced fat burning. So if you're doing a fasted cardio session, it can increase your fat oxidation. So it makes it popular, if you're trying to lose weight. But our goal isn't always to lose weight. It's really what we really want is to burn fat, because you can lose weight in a bunch of different ways from, your all your body, fluids are releasing, right? You're just sweating it out. You've seen that with wrestlers and things like that, where they just sweat to get to a lower number on the scale. Chances are, if you're listening to this, that's not your goal. You want to feel healthy, feel good, and be in a body that looks appealing to you, right? But fasted cardio can do that, depending on how intense the cardio is. Then we have convenience, right? Just the opposite of the con was the convenience now that it's easier to jump into a workout without worrying about prepping food, right? Especially if it's early in the morning. It's just easier to wake up, put your clothes on with your eyes closed, right? You're getting changed in the dark. You hop into your car, you show up to the gym, and there you are. You just work out without thinking. Hormonal benefits, right? Exercising in a fasted state can temporarily boost your hormone can't speak, boost growth hormone levels, right? On the flip side of that, which we can get into, for the cons, but before I get there are some hormonal negative side effects for eating on an empty stomach, because it can spike your cortisol. And if you're a female who is maybe stressed out, and dealing with a lot at work and in life, your cortisol is highest in the morning. And if you don't manage that with a little bit of food and you go right into a high intense workout, it can make things even worse. But another pro of working out fasted is some mental clarity. Some people report feeling sharper during their fasted workouts. That might be you, that might not be you. But if you're someone who likes to wake up and get a lift in or go for a walk, and you just feel really clear in the brain without having any food in the mix, well, then that could be a good choice for you. Again, remember, we're piecemealing this together, right? Not everyone's the same, and not all workouts need to be some put in a box, right? I think a lot of times when we think of workouts, we think, all right, they have to be an hour long, they have to be at the gym, and they have to be X, Y, and Z, right? We create these parameters for what a workout needs to be, and if not, the workout didn't count. I didn't have my Apple Watch on. It wasn't at the gym, and I didn't burn 500 calories. That wasn't exercise. Well, that's not true, right? If your exercise includes waking up and going for a 20-minute walk outside, that's very beneficial for your long-term health, believe it or not. So that is exercise too. Now, some cons of working out fasted: reduced performance. Now, this is me, right? I don't know if you can relate to this, but if I work out fasted, I see a drop in performance significantly, whether it's the amount of weight that I can lift. If I'm running, I feel the fatigue. I feel like the energy is just being sucked out of me. So that's due to the lack of glycogen, right? That can lead to quicker fatigue, right? Especially during high intensity or long duration workouts. So if you're doing HIIT workouts where it's timed intervals at a very high intensity, or you're going for a long run or a long bike ride, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the drop in blood sugar. You're going to feel fatigue. To me, sometimes I get like almost like dizzy. I can feel the blood sugar drop. Like if you're doing things where you're in a plank position and then you have to stand up, so change in elevation of your heart. Man, like I have to take a break sometimes, and I'm feeling pretty bad, like you're going to pass out or something. So that is me trying to listen to my body and say, hey, cool it, number one. And number two, you probably need some fuel prior to doing a workout, right? So again, listen to your body. If you go into a workout one day and you're just not feeling it, right? You're getting lightheaded, you're getting dizzy, you're just feeling low blood sugar. There you will be able to work out another day, right? So just take a pause for 5 minutes or call that workout quits altogether, right? There is no award coming to the end of the workout because you push through feeling terrible to get it done, right? There's times there's times when that comes into play, and you should push past a mental point, right, to get to a better place. But listen to your body. Um, then we got muscle loss risk. So if you are strength training, right, and you're doing it fasted, this is going to lead to breaking down your muscles over time, right? Because that's physically what you do. When you are lifting weights or resistance training, you are tearing muscle fibers. And if your muscles have no fuel to feed itself, well, then it's just going to go and break down the muscle. So you could be deteriorating your body and not doing what it needs to do because you go in, you work out, you tear your muscle fibers. It's a catabolic state. You're breaking down your body. The food then goes in and it's anabolic. It builds your body back up and restores it and grows it. That's the goal of exercise, right? So if you're doing that without any fuel, then it could just be you're a hamster on a wheel, right? You're just working out thinking you're trying to get benefits, but you're making it worse off, or you're just staying stagnant, right? And that all comes down to the nutrition of when you're eating and what you're eating. Then there is, I talked about this already, but risk of dizziness or low energy, right? If you're working out on an empty stomach, it can cause you to be lightheaded and weakness. Like I mentioned before, that is me, right? I experience that a lot, especially with high bouts of energy. Like if we do the assault bike here, like if I'm going on a high intensity effort or things that change elevation, things like, a push up and then standing up, or pull ups where you're, tensing pretty hard and you're changing your elevation of your heart. I feel that a ton if I don't have fuel in my system. So the next part we're going to break down is what and when to eat before a workout, right? So ideal pre-workout meals are going to be based on really what you're doing, right? So if you are doing some type of endurance effort, again, the runs, the bike rides, you might need a quick energy source like a carb. So a good example of a carb that you can have before an endurance effort is a banana, some oatmeal, or like a rice cake, right? Those are things that are going to they're going to burn fast as fuel, and they're lighter on your stomach, right? A banana is not like a full-blown meal, a little bowl of oatmeal or a rice cake. Next is protein for muscle support. Like I said, again, if you're doing resistance training, weightlifting, powerlifting, you're going to need muscle support because you're using your muscles a ton. Not that you're not using them riding your bike, you are, but that's more of an anaerobic, that's more of an aerobic exercise where you're using your lungs. Anaerobic is where you're using your muscles. So things like Greek yogurt or protein shake are good things to have prior to a workout because they're not too heavy, but they have protein in them. And then fats, you want to keep these to a minimal because they take a lot longer to break down and digest. Proteins take a long time to digest as well, but it's something like Greek yogurt and a protein shake is already somewhat broken down and it's not as heavy. Like Greek yogurt is not the same as eating like a full-blown steak prior to a workout. You'll still get your protein, but it won't be as hard to digest. So fats are things that you don't want to have as much because they take longer to digest anyway. So your timing guidelines for eating before a workout are if you're going to eat a full meal, right? You want to do that 2 to 3 hours before. This way your body can not necessarily fully digest, but it's through the process enough that you're settled. Your nutrients are dispersed throughout your body, your stomach is settled, and then you can go put your full effort into your workout. That's a full meal. But if you're going to opt for a small snack, something like the things that I said above, probably 30 to 60 minutes based on your schedule, right? And how your stomach reacts. Maybe you're someone who can eat a banana or a half a banana as you're driving to the gym and you're still fine. Other people probably need that 30 to 60-minute window to have the snack before their workouts. So here's some considerations, right? Because like I said, some people work out in the morning, some people work out in the afternoon. So there's different scenarios that come into play. If you're working out in the morning, right, I would suggest a small, easily digestible option, right? Piece of fruit, protein smoothie, something that you can either prep the night before, you can make in a couple minutes in the morning, and is not too heavy on your system. Because like I said, if you're working out at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and you're waking up 30 minutes to an hour before that, you're not going to have enough time to let your body digest and get it into a proper state prior to the workout anyway. So you do not want a big meal, right? Something small, rice cake, banana, a piece of fruit, a protein shake, or some Greek yogurt. Those are good options, right? And then again, play around with it, right? Let's say you had your half a banana and you felt uh, fatigued when you were doing strength training. Well, then maybe you try a protein source, right? This is all a game that we're playing. Our health is ever going until we pass away. So we need to be able to be aware of those things. Um, Another thing is that if you are doing a low intensity workout, like let's say your workout in the morning is a walk, well, then you can consider fasting for that, right? Like you don't necessarily need to rush to get your first meal in if you're just going for a walk. That one, you'll be fine with your energy levels if you're just going for a walk. For evening workouts, for the folks who work out after work or just in the evening in general, I would say avoid heavy meals close to the workout, right? Like I get it. Some people work until like 5 and then they get to their workout by 5:30 or 6 and then they don't want to eat too late. But I would highly suggest not eating like a full-blown dinner before those workouts, right? Allow, give yourself 1 to 2 hours for digestion. And that's another thing you could do. Let's say you work until 4:30 or 5, you can have one of those small snacks, go work out, right? So now you have the fuel and the energy to perform the workout, but your stomach isn't upset. And then after your workout, then you have your full dinner and your body can get all those nutrients that it needs to go in and repair. That would be a good situation for the evening workouts. And then hydration, right? I don't care when you work out, how hard you work out or not. Hydration is number one. It's so important, right? Whether you're fasted, you're fed, you got to be hydrated because it's critical for your performance and your energy, right? If your body is depleted of minerals and sodium and things like that, you're not gonna get a good workout. You're not gonna feel good, and you're only gonna, make the situation worse because as you exercise, you're burning your bodily fluids. So you're gonna become more dehydrated if you're not properly hydrated going into it. So make sure you're always drinking your water. And like I've said before, sprinkle some of that Celtic sea salt or that Baja Gold sea salt in your water to get some electrolytes and minerals in there. So remember, everyone is different. So take these with, some consideration, start implementing them into your life and into your workout routine. Try the little banana or the protein shake prior to the workout, and listen to your body. Please just listen to it and say, hey, I felt much better that I had a little protein before my workout. Let's do that again. And you can repeat. And the good thing about this is you can stack these things upon one another, right? It's like, all right, I tried a little Greek yogurt before my workout and I felt great. Now that's a habit that you can just do and do, and you're going to feel good until the day in which, hey, maybe that doesn't feel so good. So you try less or you try something different. And then you can experiment from there. But at least you're being aware of what's going on with your body. You know the tips, you know the tricks to optimize your workout. And now you're just going to start to feel a little bit better, right? Our goal is that we take one step up the staircase of rebuilding our health, and then you stack those habits upon one another, right? Like we all brush our teeth every day, hopefully. That's a good habit that you got instilled in you when you were a younger kid, right? When your parents told you you need to brush your teeth before bed. Now that's just something you do, you don't really think about it. So in turn, we do these things with our health in all ways. Hey, I found out that drinking a big glass of water first thing in the morning made me feel better. Going to keep doing that. A little bit of protein before my workouts made me feel better. Going to do that. I ate my dinner, 3 hours before bedtime, and I felt fully digested and had a better night's sleep. Going to keep doing that, right? And we start to analyze these things and put it all together. And then boom, here we go. We're living an optimal life and we're living up to our full potential. So, guys, if you learned something, if you enjoyed this, please share it with a friend, right? I'm not at the point where I get advertisers asking me to promote the show, right? It's a very small show, but I think if one person could benefit from this message, it can improve their life, right? So that's the goal, is to exponentially help folks live a happier and healthier life, and encourage them to tune in. I share these shows every Tuesday. You can share the link with them. You can put on your notifications that when it gets released, 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning, that you'll know about it. And you can listen and learn each week on something that's going to improve your life and improve your health. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And until next time, go be great.